Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I hope you're all doing well. The start of another week and a big week for Manchester United. Disappointing end to the week yesterday with the West Brom game, as we know. But, you know, football moves quickly and we've got Europa League and Newcastle this week and we need to, well, I don't want to say that. We need to bounce back, this, that and the other. I think ultimately you've just got to be realistic, haven't you? I look forward to the Europa League. I look forward to the games against Newcastle, but we are where we feared we didn't want to be. We're inconsistent United again, and I'm not going to be dissuaded from that. You know, the reality is we are capable of going on a 3-month amazing run, and then we bottle it and struggle to get results, and the heads fall off, and that's what's happened since Sheffield United. I'm not going to be convinced any other way. We've played 5 games in the league since then, and we've taken 6 points. That's bad. So we've done it again, and it's down to the board. It's not down to Ollie. It's not down to the players. I think Solskjaer, you can't say that Solskjaer's performed a miracle over this season, which I think he has, having not been back last summer. You can't say he's performed miracles, and then when the miracles dry up, go, oh, Ollie out. Like, realistically, I said he wasn't backed in the summer. I said we would struggle this season to get top 4. We got to top of the league in January. The miracles run out, and everyone's like, Ollie out again. And it's like, for me, it's not really about the defence, it's not really about the midfield, it's not really about the manager. To go to the next level, and we are second at the moment, but to go to the next level, the board have got to do what we all know the board have got to do, but have failed to do properly for 8 years. So, well, probably longer than that. I don't think they fully backed Sir Alex, to be honest with you. I'll always back Ollie unless City win the treble, says Ravi. Well, lots to get into this morning. Christopher Brown says it's totally down to Ollie. I totally disagree with you. Christopher. I think it's got. I think that this team has gone as far as it can go. Consistency would be nice, but this team ain't going to win a title, and that's what we aspire to be. And the board get off with it too often. I think it's down to them. However, we've got some breaking news for you this morning around Sergio Ramos, Paul Pogba return date, which I think all of us would like to see. And a few other things to discuss as well. But we'll start off with Sergio Ramos. This is coming from, and let me get the person right, they've got 1.2 million followers on Twitter. Josep Pedral. He is saying that Ramos, who has been linked with a move to Manchester United, is leaving Real Madrid this summer. It's done, and there is no going back. So Sergio Ramos, if that is true, and I would always say if, this has been lingering around for a couple of weeks now that Ramos will leave Madrid. We've heard this before. We heard it 5 years ago and we thought he was coming to Manchester United. So apologies if I don't get overexcited, but we are hearing it more and more that Ramos will leave Madrid. And it does make sense. I mean, I'm not going to dwell on Madrid's finances too much, but they are in need of money. There are 3 good centre-backs they need to renew on big wages. Varane is up in a year. Ramos is up this summer, and they're trying to bring Alaba in from Bayern Munich. So that's about 45 million in wages they've got to find to keep all 3. One of them has got to go. I think Alaba's a player they want to bring in. I don't think they'll let Varane go, so Ramos looks likely to go. Whether Ramos then ends up at Manchester United, look, it's probably looking likely than it ever has. The question would be, would you want it to happen? I personally would rather have Varane, and a lot of people in the live comments are saying that. My issue with Ramos is that I just think that thoughts on a Haaland Martial straight swap, says Tuskas. I'll have what you're drinking, but mine's a pint. But no, I don't think Ramos to Manchester United will happen, and I don't think it would be. I'd worry about it being a good deal. It could work like Cavani. I've got to say it could work out like Cavani has. And I was very worried about that. So I'm not going to say, nah, let's not do it. I mean, Ramos is better than nobody. I would have a feel that, and 44 Hunter says Ramos and Harry won't work. So the news is that Ramos is going to leave Madrid. And therefore that puts Ramos available, doesn't it? I think with Sergio Ramos that if he came to Manchester United, and there is apparently a big story coming out of Liverpool this morning, which I don't think it will be Jurgen Klopp's leaving, but it could be they're signing Ramos, I suppose. I don't know. But in relation to Ramos coming to Manchester United, my fear would be that this time next year we'd still be talking about Maguire and Lindelof, because Sergio Ramos could be injury prone at 35 in the Premier League. He also could get a lot of red cards. So I don't think Ramos at Manchester United is going to work as a foil or a complementary player towards Harry Maguire. I don't think that's going to work. if anything, when I look at Ramos, I just think he's a better Harry Maguire. I don't think they complement each other. I mean, for one, if you buy Sergio Ramos, you've got to give him the captain's armband. You have to do that. So would they? I don't think Ollie would do that. I don't think he's going to give Harry Maguire's captaincy up. Whether he should or he shouldn't, I don't think he would do that. And you can't. I mean, how stupid would it be to bring Sergio Ramos to Manchester United and put him next to Harry Maguire, but give Harry Maguire the captaincy? So I don't see that as a reason. Although I do think we need another leader in that team. So there's pros and cons, but I don't think Ramos would be given the captaincy at United. I'd worry about his injury record. I'd worry about his disciplinary record. I'd worry about his ability to come into a Premier League which is fast and furious at the age of 35. And it would be a very, very expensive risk. So I don't think United will go for Ramos. I think if Ramos is going to go anywhere, go and do what bloody Marquinhos and Thiago did for a few years. Go and put your feet up with a cup of tea and a packet of hobnobs and slippers on and play for PSG. You get a bit of European Champions League football, maybe 10 games a season, but the rest of it you're on easy street playing in a pub league. And you'll get good wages. So I think Ramos might leave Madrid, but I think he'll end up at PSG. It really doesn't matter who the manager is. We will never win a title with that defence. Shouldn't be blaming Ollie, says AJ Flores. So that's the latest on Ramos. Get Koundé and Ramos. I mean, if I'm honest with you, and I don't know what people think this morning, if I offered you Sergio Ramos or Jules Koundé, what would you go for? Sergio Ramos is better than Jules Koundé, but Koundé is 22. He's going to be at the club for many years. He's quicker. I go for Koundé because I think this is what Manchester United need to do. Manchester United need to build a future. We do need leaders though. We can't just have loads of Marcus Rashfords and Jules Koundés and Aaron Wan-Bissakas. We do need leaders in the team, and we've seen that with Cavani and Bruno. But I think at centre-back, Harry Maguire's never going to have the captaincy taken off him. He's never going to get dropped. So I don't see what Ramos brings to the centre-back position. So I would go Jules Koundé on there. But we'll have to watch it develop. It's looking like Ramos will leave Real Madrid. And I think he'll end up at PSG, not Man United. If he does end up at Manchester United, I'd welcome him. I'd be excited by it because, he's an icon of the game. But I'd also be very wary of it as well. I don't think it's a good fit. I really don't. Why doesn't Ollie show the team footage of Premier League winning United teams and give them passionate team talks and aggression and winning mentality, says Jeremy Henderson? Well, Pogba is due back. There was a story in The Athletic from Laurie Whitwell saying that Pogba's injury was mapped as being 3 to 4 weeks, which puts him back for the Man City game just after the Chelsea game. There is expected to be a further update this week. So Paul Pogba's return date is meant to be for the Manchester derby, right at the start of March. Now, if that happens, it can't come sooner. We massively miss Paul Pogba, and it's funny because obviously the centre backs played absolute trash yesterday. But one thing that has been picked up by a lot of people, and we were talking about it in the watch along, is that Harry Maguire was almost playing as a left winger at times. He had loads of touches of the ball on the left hand side, on the edge of the box. Now, a lot of people have said that this is a real positive, that it shows leadership from Harry Maguire. I personally think it shows a weakness in the team tactically. I'm not talking about Maguire here. I'm talking about that's something that did happen a lot, and he did have a part to play in the goal because he passed it to Shaw, who whipped a good cross in. But I actually think Luke Shaw didn't get forward as much because, well, he did get forward, but he didn't get the ball in the right areas as much because Maguire was right next to him. Luke Shaw was almost pushed to the touchline, and I think Luke Shaw is good on the touchline and inside, and he couldn't do that much because Maguire was coming into that space. But more importantly, what that shows is that if Harry Maguire is having loads of the ball on the left wing and on the left-hand side of the pitch, this just shows how redundant Fred and McTominay to a certain extent were, that our centre-back is having to come and make runs to the edge of the penalty box. Like, we're crying out for Paul Pogba to come back, and we're crying out long-term for a midfielder in that pivot who actually knows how to attack. I don't think it's McTominay's game, and I definitely don't think it's Fred's game. But we need somebody in that midfield who can offer something going forward, because without Pogba, we're struggling. I spoke about it last night. Bruno Fernandes has to drop so deep to get the ball because Fred and McTominay can't give him the ball quick enough higher up the pitch, which Pogba can. So we do need Pogba back, but He's not going to be back before the two-legged games against Real Sociedad. He's not going to be back before the two games against Chelsea and Newcastle in the league. And I think we're going to struggle. I think any team looking at us at the moment, we're going to struggle. I mean, of course, in the Europa League, we might not struggle because we might actually play Donny van der Beek. But it is an issue for Manchester United, and they do need to resolve it. And interestingly as well, on Real Sociedad, I saw that Alazabal, who was meant to be out injured, played 79 minutes over the weekend, so he's not out injured. I agree that the board are to blame, says Mark Dobby, but we had Bay and Van der Beek on the bench yesterday. The board didn't put them there, says Mark. And do you think we went into the game thinking we would get an easy win? Gutted for yesterday, but on to the next game, says Marcus Wynn. And the only upside of Ramos, in my opinion, is he brings pure leadership to the defence, which we need and don't get with the fridge, says Daniel Kirk. But I think that's a reason we won't get him, because I just can't see Sergio Ramos coming into the Manchester United team and not... and being given the captaincy. I just don't think Ollie would do that. But just quickly on the game yesterday, I think that in the Premier League, we saw Fulham beat Everton at Goodison Park yesterday. Some people would say that's a shock. I predicted a win yesterday. I think anybody predicted a win. But what I did say, and Flex said it when he was on the show as well, you know, we had people yesterday morning going on social media, straightforward win today, get a couple of goals for Martial, get his confidence up and move on to the next game. No, there's one thing about Manchester United we must learn from the last few years. There is no game you can say straightforward win today. Doesn't mean we won't have a straightforward win, but look at the results over the last few years. The losses to Newcastle, to Bournemouth, to Burnley, you know, to Sheffield United recently. We are capable of losing any game, and we are capable of winning any game. But you cannot go into any game. Don't sleep on United, because you just don't know when they're going to wake you up with a nightmare or an ice dream. You just don't know. I said nice dream, not an ice cream. Ollie's not in your bedroom with an ice cream. God, no. You don't want that. But no, you don't know what you're going to get with United. So was I shocked that we lost yesterday? I wouldn't say I was shocked. I think we shouldn't have lost that game. There's no excuse for losing that game. And as I said, some of the excuses that came out about this is a hard place to come, I don't think West Brom have created that many chances against the team this season. And they've only won one game at the Hawthorns this season. They're crap. They are crap. But we gave them a 1-0 start. And I don't care who you played in the Premier League. If you give somebody a 1-0 start in the Premier League, you're playing with fire. Unless you're like Man City or someone like that who can just dominate a game and make chance after chance after chance after chance. Any team in the Premier League gives any team a 1-0 start and they might not win the game. And that's what happened with United. So, you know, and what annoys me about yesterday is that we knew the threat and we just fell asleep in the first 3 minutes. It's almost like we gave them a 1-0 start. I watched it this morning and it was like, I was just like, I wanted to watch that first 3 minutes just to see what the tempo was like. It was non-existent. It was almost just white flag. You know, if you've got, I don't want to say Roy Keane or Vidic or Ferdinand or Gary Neville or Giggs or Scholes. If you've got those sort of players in that team, that doesn't even happen. The tempo was terrible and inexcusable, but, you know, it's gone. Hi, Mark. I find it so frustrating when we're chasing a game and Bruno starts shooting from 30 yards. We're just giving the ball back. Thoughts, Ollie in? Yeah, there was a shot from Bruno yesterday from about 30 yards that was frustrating. I even said it on the watch along, what are you doing shooting from there? But you know what that is? It's frustration. It's pure frustration. He shouldn't be doing it, but we've all been in that situation whereby the players around you are absolute shite and you don't trust them with giving the ball to get it back. So you try and do something ridiculous. And I think that's what it was from Bruno. He was like, you know, I'm going to shoot from here because I've got more chance of scoring a worldie than getting this ball back and creating a chance if I give it to Fred, you know. Twan Sebi pockets Mbappe and Neymar and can be top-class centre-back, can work well with Maguire, but Ollie doesn't allow games to improve, same as Van der Beek, so it's Ollie's fault, says Paul Stafford. Look, I've got to cut in on this because there's some stories to talk about Botman and Max Aarons as well that I need to bring in. But I did see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Ollie out was trending yesterday. I don't think this is the solution. I really don't. And if it's your solution, that's fine. But and as I said, there is no doubt in my mind that the fault yesterday lies with the manager and the coaches, because Lindelof cost us the game and he shouldn't have started. Eric Bailly should have started. And Van der Beek should have come on at half-time for Fred. So, of course, it's on the coaches that we lost yesterday. He got tactically outdone by Sam Allardyce. I wouldn't want that on my tombstone. Tactically outdone by Sam Allardyce. That's embarrassing. And that's what happened yesterday. So, look, Ollie didn't do very well yesterday. His coaches didn't do very well because they are a team. It's not just Ollie. You see them conferring on the touchline. Yesterday, it was dreadful. And I would own that. I think any United fan would own that. But to then translate that to Ollie out is too far. He's still produced miracles this season over 3 months to get us where he got us in January. The players, to me, are not good enough. I would love to know why he picked Lindelof yesterday. If he thinks it's because Lindelof's more equipped for that game, then that's terrifying, because he wasn't. And, his misuse of Van der Beek is, bordering on ridiculous at this point. But I still look at the league table and see a team in second place. And to say Ollie out when we're in second place, I find ridiculous. Ridiculous. Concerns, I understand. I understand those concerns. But to say Ollie out is ridiculous. And also, whether Pep is the manager of Man United, or Klopp is the manager of Manchester United, or Brendan Rodgers is manager of Manchester United, they are only going as far as where we are now. We will not win the league with this squad. Never in a million years would we win the league with this squad. It cannot be done with no manager. So the board have got to deliver the players. And the thing is, people say he should play Bailly over Lindelof. He should have played Bailly over Lindelof. But Eric Bailly isn't Virgil van Dijk. He is vulnerable himself. He makes mistakes. And whatever, I don't know what's going on with Twan Sebi. Maybe the confidence is gone. I do not know. What we do know is that Solskjaer wants a centre-back. And if he wants a centre-back, he has to be given a centre-back, because that's the route out of Lindelof and Maguire. So that, to me, is something to cling on to and put the blame on the board for, because he does want a centre-back. He wanted Upamecano in the summer. It didn't happen. He wants a centre-back. So that's the route out of Maguire and Lindelof. I don't know what's going on in the midfield. We definitely need a midfielder. But those things are important. And I just think Ollie out, for me, is premature, because you've got to wait until the summer and see where we are. And for anybody who is Ollie out, he might be out in the summer. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's got to earn a new contract. And where we are today, I wouldn't put if you'd have said to me 2 weeks ago, or even before the West Brom game, is Ollie going to get a new contract? I would have said, yeah. I'm 90% sure. Well, we know what happens when I'm 90% sure. But I would have been before West Brom. I thought we'll win that game. Gives us a big gap over Liverpool and Chelsea. I think we'll get top four. We might not finish second. We might finish third or fourth, but we'll get top four and he'll get a new contract. Asking me today, after taking 6 points from the last 15 and looking at the games we've got coming up, Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City are our next 3 games. I think we could do well to get 4 points out of that, to be honest with you. So that would be, what would that be? Another 9. That would be 10 out of 24. It's not good, is it? So I think that we might not get top 4. I still think we will, but we might not. And I don't think we'll win the Europa League. And I'm not sure we're going to win the FA Cup. So if he doesn't get top 4 and he doesn't win a trophy, he could be gone in May. Which is why I've always said let's wait till May. I mean, I think he can still do it, and I think he will be manager next year. But if you don't want that to happen, or you think he's not the right man, it might not happen anyway. There's nowhere left to hide. There's no transfer market to save him. But whether the board do that or not, I don't know. But probably not. But there's a lot of games to play. The squad looks very, very, very reliant on Bruno and Pogba and Luke Shaw and Cavani and at the moment. And unless people like Greenwood get to start and Diallo gets given a chance, I don't see where the inspiration's going to come from on a team that's looking a bit tired. So we could start dropping more points. And if we drop more points, we'll get sucked into a battle for top 4, because you lose another 6 points on the teams behind you and you get sucked into a battle that you do not want to be in. Imagine if Bailly and Twan Sebi got the same chances to create a partnership as those Prats on the back has got today. Only Ollie is at fault. Favouritism, says Tabraz. A lot of people saying he's not the right man, Mark. Well, look, this is your opinion. And as I said, nothing's going to happen till May. So we'll see what happened. What's happened with Martial, says Brandon? Well, Ollie's come out and said he's not too concerned about it, but I think privately he will be very concerned about it, and publicly he's just trying to give him a boost. I saw that there was more racist abuse towards Martial. I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest with you. It's disgusting, it's vile, but I expect it. The thing is, you do have to talk about it, and you do have to call it out for being vile, but it is a red rag to a bull, isn't it? These people are just going to do it more because they know they can get away with it. It's like saying... It's like being a supermarket, isn't it? And letting everybody know you've got no you don't lock your doors at night and then somebody stole from you. The burglars will be out to steal it again tonight and tomorrow night. And, you know, the racists are out at the moment knowing that they can get away with being racist. So it's going to keep happening, unfortunately. And it is vile and it is abusive and it is wrong. But, you know, the papers keep reporting it like on headlines. Of course it's going to keep happening because the protocols are not in place to stop it. It's disgusting. As for Martial's form, I think he's a confidence player and I think his confidence is gone. I did read something very quickly. I need to talk about Botman and Aarons, but I did read something yesterday and I don't know what you think about this. I'm sort of on the fence with this, and you know me, I don't like to sit on the fence, but it was something along the lines of Anthony Martial has bulked himself up to play as a number 9, which has made him slower, and now he's been put back to the left wing again and people are moaning that he's not as quick as he used to be. I'd love to know the actual facts about that. How much weight and muscle has Martial put on compared to when he was a left winger? Because I don't know that I physically see it. But if he has put, I don't know, half a stone or a stone on, then it will impact on how quick and mobile he is. So I don't know. I'm not convinced on that story, but it was just something I saw. I can't remember where I read it. I read it last night or this morning, and I thought, you know what? If he has put weight on to bulk up as a number 9, because you need to be more physical, then he's not going to be as mobile or as agile as he was. Can you see Bruno playing Thursday and Sunday, says Salah? Yes, I think this is a massive week, and we'll talk about it as the week develops. Europa League football on Thursday night. Yabba dabba doo! Yabba dabba doo! The one thing you want before we go back into Thursday night Europa League football is a shit result. It really gets you in the mood for Thursday night Europa League football. Emmerdale. You know, we really did need to beat West Brom 4-0 yesterday just to give us a bit of a boost, because you know there's a downer coming on Thursday night. You know you're shit when you're kicking off at 5-6 on a Thursday night. Bloody hell. We've got the Champions League theme tune on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday evening, I'm not even going to call it Thursday night, at 5-6. Watch Manchester United play in a neutral ground in Italy with no fans against Real Sociedad. It's the big one. But no, I think realistically, looking ahead, it's going to be very interesting this week what Solskjaer's got to say. I remember when the Europa League draw came out back in December, and I said, I think a lot of people agreed with me with this one, let's see where we are in the league in February, because there's a lot of football to be played by then. And what's happened since then? We've gone top of the league and then we've bottled it. And now we are Europa League time in exactly the position I didn't really want us to be in. Slightly better. If we'd have been in 5th place or 4th place, I'd have been like, oh my God, what do you do? But we are in 2nd place with a little bit of a buffer. But so many games in the Europa League. There's an extra round compared to the Champions League. So you're playing nearly every Thursday and every Sunday. So you can't play the same team. I personally think on Thursday night you should be playing no Bruno, no Cavani, no Maguire and Lindelof, no Luke Shaw, no McTominay and Fred. I mean, I could construct a team for you very quickly. It'd be Henderson in goal, Williams at right back, Tellez at left back, Bailly Twansebi at centre back, Matic and Van der Beek as the pivots. I would play Diallo off the right. I would play Martial as the number 9. I would play Dan James off the left. And at number 10, I'd probably play Juan Mata. And I'd just think, well, you know what? I'm resting my complete first team for the league. And it's still a team that needs game time. So, but he won't do that, will he? And part of me agrees with him not doing that. But you could put a complete team out that's none of your first team and keep them fresh for the Premier League. Because my worry is we'll put first team out on Thursday, first team out on Sunday. We will drop points, and then we will get tired, and then we will end up out of the Europa League, and we'll end up out of the top 4. I think it's a massive test of Solskjaer's resolve to just say, look, my first team's in the Premier League and the FA Cup, and my reserve team is in the Europa League. And I back my reserve team, but if they get kicked out, that's their fault. And I back my first team because I need to get top 4. I don't think he's going to do that though, because I think it takes too much bravery. I think he'll try and do everything, and he could end up with nothing. Is Ollie really performing miracles this season? Our average points since Fergie left is 70, and Ollie's on course to get 72, so that's not remarkable. Jose got 81, says Duncan. I think Duncan raises a good point, because it is about points for me. It's about points total. It's not about where we finish this season, it's about points total. If we get around 65 points, there's no progress. If we get 70 plus, there is a bit of progress. Ollie's serving a pile of poop, labelling as chocolate pudding and people shouting, wow, looks tasty. We're number 2. Ollie will never change and history is proof, says Alpha Shark. Lots and lots of opinions on Ollie. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Just a little story as well about Botman from Lille. He's early 20s Dutch centre-back who plays for Lille. There was a story yesterday that he'd decided to join a Premier League club. Romano has come out and said this isn't true. Liverpool have been linked to him in the past. I don't really know much about him. Suffice to say, the limited bit I've seen from Botman is that I think he's about 6'4". I think he's a slightly quicker Harry Maguire. And I don't think that. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. But my assumption is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will build his defence around Harry Maguire. And that will be the case for however many years that Ollie's the manager. It's his captain, it's his big signing, he's going to stick with Harry Maguire. So therefore, the centre-back that you're going to buy has got to be somebody that complements Harry Maguire. And I don't think Botman complements Harry Maguire. Although, can I just say this? Maybe we will buy a tall centre-back because we don't use Maguire anyway. I mean, I heard Gary Neville saying it yesterday on the commentary, and we've been talking about it for months and months and months. I remember having a conversation with Ricky about it in the summer. And I was saying that Ricky was saying, well, it's just clever from the centre-back because they avoid Harry Maguire. And I said, yeah, with 1 or 2 times a game, that's fine. But not every set piece, not all the time should it happen. And as we know, Harry Maguire is always the spare man and Lindelof is always the guy marking the massive player. So maybe we are going to bring in a big, tall centre-back because we are not going to use Harry Maguire for what we bought him for. We're going to use him as this some sort of weird sweeper, some 6'5" sweeper. I mean, I don't know. So maybe that is the plan. I don't know. Maybe we're all wanting something we're not going to get. Maybe we're all like, yeah, we need a quick centre back. It's not so important if they're tall because we've got Maguire. We need a quick centre back who's got the potential to be top class. And maybe Solskjaer's thinking I need a tall centre back to win the ball. Because we're not using Maguire like that. I don't know. Nothing would surprise me. Mark, in a game breakdown, is Maguire actually better or more effective than Eric Bailly? Says Ershwin. No, I mean, I think that's a good point. I mean, I don't really want to answer that question because you know where it's going to go. Is Maguire better than Eric Bailly? No, not this season, really. No, the evidence isn't there. I'm not saying Bailly's way better than Maguire, and I do think Maguire and Bailly have played well together. But the reality is, on the games that we've seen from Bailly, he's performed way better than Maguire. And as I said, Maguire and Lindelof destroy each other. I don't think they're bad centre backs, but the partnership destroys both. So, but I think Bailly's better than Maguire this season. I think Maguire's had a very bad season. And there is a bit of bias there because he's the captain. I don't think he's a very good captain, and I think that's something you have to judge him on as well. But I think Eric Bailly's had a better season than Maguire. I don't think Maguire's had a good season, but some people would disagree with me. Mehdi says that Bailly is way better, and Maguire's got the height, says Lionel. Keep in mind, Bailly's only 26, says Martin. The problem with Bailly is that he's injured, isn't he, all the time? Bailly's clear. Bailly's infinitely superior to Maguire. I think it's quite close, to be fair. I think, but on the morning after last night, there's not going to be many Harry Maguire fans, is there? Let's be honest, and especially after all the excuses he came out with, that was just so ill-advised. But whatever. Anyway, Max Aarons as well is a right back that we're looking at, and apparently Bayern Munich are looking at him as well. There's a story in the British press this morning that Max Aarons is now a target for Bayern Munich. If he is. I'm not going to cry into my cornflakes if he goes to Bayern Munich. I mean, there's plenty of right backs. I think United want Trippier anyway, but interesting, isn't it? Eric Bailly is genuinely a good player, says watching Riley Reid. I think Eric Bailly will always be a player that struggles because of his injury record, isn't it? You can't trust him. BOM says, I want to know who is blowing Harry up at United. Like, how do you look at your performances and go, yeah, that was good? I got no answer to that. Polar Bear says Maguire and Lindelof are slower than Manan. But you know what? It's not just about speed with our centre-backs. I think if you watched Match of the Day last night or you watched it afterwards, the fantastic world-class double save from David De Gea. And I'm so pleased to see De Gea in general getting good ratings from the media that were going at him last week. That double fantastic save from David De Gea, and it was a game-changing save. Well, 2 saves. That ball, Maguire lets bounce. When you know you're slow, you don't let a ball bounce against a quick striker. And I've seen Lindelof do this, and I've seen Maguire do this, and it's like, do you not know that you're slow? Like, you can't afford... I mean, one of the things... I used to play centre-back quite regularly in my mid-teens, and... one of the things you're always taught is don't let the ball bounce when you're playing against a quick striker, because it just, you know, if the ball's knocked up in the air towards you as a centre-back, the chances of you, it's in your favour if you don't let it bounce, because the ball's coming towards you, you're normally like that, unless you've been caught out and you're running like that, in which case it's a 50-50 and they're probably going to win because of the pace. But if the ball's coming towards you and it's not coming over your head, you're looking at the ball. So the percentage chance of you dealing with that ball is high. The second you let it bounce, you don't know what that bounce is going to do. And also, you know, your percentage chance drops and Maguire gets in all sorts of trouble. And I've seen Lindelof do it as well. I don't know why, when you're a slow centre-back, you let the ball bounce in those situations. If in doubt, boot it out. That's something else you get taught as a centre-back. And you'll see Van Dijk do it. You'll see Ramos do it. You know, sometimes they don't want to do it. But if in doubt, the best defenders boot it out. And that's out of play, out of the postcode. Just get rid of it. But do not let it bounce. So it's not just a lack of pace at the moment. It's a lack of... It's gone beyond that for me with our centre-back pairing. It's not just a lack of pace. That is an issue. It's a lack of... composure is the word. The basics. Defending... The defending basics have gone. If you think about that goal... Not, you know, the lad who scored the goal for West Brom, another cross came in and he headed it just wide in the first half. All he does is just push Lindelof off with his hand and head the ball. This is basics. This is physicality. This is, you know, dealing with a, you know, you don't get... I mean, to be honest, you know, like Big Wheels, the monster truck with the big wheels, and then a red Mini Metro that Mr. Bean drives. Well, Lindelof was in the red Mini Metro, and that West Brom striker was in a Big Wheels monster truck, and he just crushed him. It was like, it's embarrassing. You know, we basically had, it was like putting, I don't know, Harry Potter up against Hulk Hogan without his wand. Like, the difference in size was ridiculous. And he bullied him. You know, centre-back got bullied by a West Brom striker, and we allowed that to happen. It's the basics. It's the basics. We're the only fans discussing sacking the manager when second in the league. It's so tiring, says Pal. Well, everyone's got an opinion, Pal, but, you know, I don't think we should be talking about Ollie out. How can Ollie use Lindelof after West Brom now? The problem is clear as ice, says Stian. Well, it's been clear for a long time. I think he will keep using him. Points and position both matter. Teams can play differently per season. Solskjaer has improved, but we demand more from our board. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and team, no excuses. I like that, Neil. And it's if the captaincy is taken off Maguire and given to Bruno in the near future, what would that mean for Maguire if that scenario does occur, says Salah Ahmed? Well, it won't happen. It won't happen. So we're dealing in a hypothetical, Salah. I think Ollie... A lot of people talk about favouritism with Ollie. I don't think it's favouritism. I think it's morale. I think he's a man manager. He's a brilliant man manager, by the way. Brilliant man manager, because that's been proven. You know, his job was on the line back in the autumn, and he knew it, and the players responded to him. I think he's loyal to players. And if you look back at that team against Everton, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Maguire and Lindelof at centre-back. I'm pretty sure McTominay and Fred played as well. And that was the game that kept him in a job. And I think Ollie is a man manager. So, look, I was thinking about this morning, and I probably should have started the show on it because it's quite important. A lot of people talking about favouritism this morning. I think they're right, but I think there's a deeper meaning to the favouritism. Ollie's a very good man manager, and to be a good man manager or a woman manager, then you've got to have trust. And if you lose the trust in the players, you're not a good man manager if you're Ollie. What Solskjaer does is he trusts the players that have helped him. And against Everton, 2 days before, it broke that United had been talking to Pochettino. We just lost to Istanbul. There was a lot of people Ollie out. He went to Everton. They won the game. And they went on a really good run after that. And Solskjaer has not forgotten that. He's very loyal to the players that basically kept him in a job. And therefore, that is Maguire and Lindelof. that is McFred. The trouble is with loyalty is that it will get you into trouble, because if you're loyal to the wrong people, then you're going to get into trouble. And the problem is that loyalty isn't misplaced. You can trust those players, but those players are not good enough to take him where he needs to go. So at some point, he's going to have to disappoint those players, whether that's dropping Lindelof, or whether that's breaking up McFred, whether that's taking the captaincy off Harry Maguire. If he wants to keep his job long term, then he's going to have to do those things. But at the moment, he doesn't seem to want to do those things because he thinks those players can take him where he needs to go. Well, they kept him in a job, and they did a very good job, but those players can't take him to the next level. And the problem with Man United is it's not Cardiff, it's not Mulder. There's not a ceiling that everyone's just going to go, yeah, this is great. We used to win titles. We used to win Champions Leagues. So, yeah, it was great being top of the league in January. But the problem with that is when you falter and you're not top anymore, United fans don't go, well, it was good to be there. They'll go, I want to be back there. Why aren't we there? Because you're using these players and they're not good enough. So it creates its own problem. There is favouritism towards these players because he trusts them and he doesn't want to let them down. He doesn't want to lose that trust. The problem is they've probably taken him as far as they can take him. And he needs to go to the next level because he's a Man United manager. And to go to the next level, he's got to upset those players. But at the moment, he seems very reluctant to do it. So this is why I say wait till May. Because if he doesn't upset those players and start breaking up those partnerships of McFred and Maguire and Lindelof, he could end up outside the top four and out of a job. So Solskjaer needs to, I understand why he's doing the favouritism. And I understand why, he's being loyal to those players because they kept him in a job. But these players can't take him to the next level. And as a Man United manager, you must go to the next level or you will go to the basement where you'll be sacked. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We are on the road to 1 million, 15,000 away. It's the countdown. So subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We are back tonight. I think it's a slightly earlier show tonight. I think we're live at 7 because I'm doing a watch-along for Chelsea-Newcastle on That's Football. And we might have a show this afternoon. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you in a bit.